begun to see death in a different way. The painlessness involved and the joy and the beauty that I saw is such a lovely thing. I have to say it. It is such a beautiful thing. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Tama. So it's been a long time, hasn't it? And I honestly don't even know where to start from. Yeah, there's been so much going on, and I'm going to share them bit by bit. I've been through a lot in the last while, but like I said, I'm going to share them slowly, bit by bit. But first thing I want to share about, or I want to talk about, or I want to make this video about, is about how I went to heaven. Yeah. I'm going to go straight to the point. I'm not planning to make it a long video, so let me just go straight to the point. So one morning I woke up and it was like 4 in the morning, and I was having abdominal ache. I was having pain in my abdomen. Okay, the night before I took a very strong painkiller for a different kind of an ache that I was having, and I took the painkiller. It's actually a very strong painkiller, and I ate oranges. I used to eat oranges every night because it helps me go in the morning. So I'll eat like 3 or 4 oranges every night before I go to sleep. So, and it will help me to go, when I say go to the toilet in the morning, and it just prevents constipation anyways. So on this very night I took this very strong painkiller. I was having a bit of a chest pain, which is something I get sometimes, but at the time, you know, apparently, let me put it this way, because I go for walks in the evenings. So even when it's winter time, summertime, I still go for walks in the evenings. But you know, they say that breathing in cold air sometimes can cause a pain. So I was having this kind of a pain, and I thought, oh yeah, let me just take painkiller today. I've been walking a lot, evening walks in the cold, so I just took a very strong painkiller, and then I ate oranges. I went to sleep, and I woke up moaning, like in pain. I was in so much pain when I woke up. That would have been around 4 in the morning, and the ache was so bad. Now this ache, let me just explain it. This ache was not in my chest. This ache that woke me up was not in my chest, was not in my, I didn't feel like it was in my lungs. You know, even when you come to abdomen, when you say abdomen, there are different, you know, things there in your abdomen. We have our colon, we have our stomach, we have our pancreas, we have, you know, you have your liver. So yeah, it could have been anywhere, but this pain was right here on the what we call the right upper quadrant. We divide the abdomen into 2, so we have the top, you know, into 2, sorry. If you put, like, imagine if you put a cross like that, right? So that's the bottom, up, right, top, and you have left and you have right. So this was the right upper quadrant. So the pain was right here. The pain was so unbearable. I can't explain it. Like, even for a woman that has children, that have gone through, you know, all my babies were natural delivery, you know, and all of that, the pain was different. That's the best way I can explain it. It was very painful, and it was different. It's not like a pain I've ever had in my life, in my whole life. So I was like, oh yeah, I went downstairs. I was like, oh yeah, I'll go, you know, I was like, oh, I thought it would go down. So I went downstairs. I just drank a glass of milk. Well, I drank soya milk, because that's what I drink. I don't really like fresh milk, to be honest. So I drank that. I was like, oh, maybe I just, you know, I was a bit half asleep, half awake kind of a thing. And I just drank it, and I went back to, tried to go back to sleep, because I couldn't. I tried to go back to sleep, but I couldn't fall back asleep because the pain was so bad. So that was, like I said, 4 in the morning, and then later on it got so unbearable that I just said I have to go to the hospital. So I went to the nearest hospital to me, and then they like I couldn't even get up. That was how bad it was. And when the triage nurse saw me, you know, the triage is the nurses that decides if priority, right? The nurses that decides the way, like, how do I even say it in simple terms? Like the nurses that will see you first to decide where to put you, whether you should be prioritized above others, or whatever, like to decide who needs to be seen first. Basically, that's the best way to put it. And they called me in straight away. And then when they tried to check my blood pressure, they were like, oh, you know, they were just checking everything. I was in pain, no position was comfortable, but I kept on needing to kind of like coil into myself, like really bend over to, I don't even know if it helped, but that was the only way that I found comfortable to even sit. And then even when I was lying down still kind of like bending over to kind of, I don't even know. I've not made videos in a long time, so I'm finding it hard to like, okay, flow properly. Okay, now then at the point she said, oh, sit up so I can check your blood pressure. That was when I collapsed. When I say collapsed, I was not unconscious, but you know, when your body is going through so much pain that is overwhelming your body. My body felt overwhelmed. I collapsed and they rushed me in. I did not lose consciousness, right? They rushed me in. The A&E, as there's accident and emergency, was full, was busy and full. But they put me like by the nurse's station, and they were taking bloods, they were giving me IV paracetamol. Typically, you know, painkillers, anesthesia, you know, in hospitals they start from the bottom. Paracetamol is always like the basic, you know, and then you can go up and up. So to give me IV paracetamol, I felt no relief, zero, nothing. I was screaming, let's say shouting. When I say shouting, but I was like, oh God, like, you know, I was in pain. I was like, oh, I was in a lot of pain. I was moaning. I was I won't call it shouting, but I was loud, let's put it that way. I was like, oh my goodness, like, oh, the pain is too much or something like that. I was really, and the pain, oh my goodness. I don't know, in the nursing, I'm a nurse, for those of you that don't know, I talk really fast. Okay, for those of you that do not know, I'm a nurse. So the way we try to score a patient's pain is between 0 and 10. So 0 means you have no pain, and 10 means, you know, you have the worst pain ever. And I just told them, I said my pain is 15. Basically, that was my way of saying that my pain is more than 10. Like, it was really bad. They gave me, I'm trying to remember the IVs they gave me. I know they gave me IV paracetamol. It didn't work. They gave me another painkiller. It didn't work. I think they gave me about 3 different, like, you know, painkillers. They didn't work. They were doing my blood test. They were doing everything. At the end of the day, they did X-ray. They did, I can't remember what else they did. But anyways, the area that I want to speak on is when I was on that, while I was lying down, I was in so much pain that like I said, even though like I was trying to lie on my stomach, but not lie, almost like I was kneeling down and bent over. That's the best. And that was the only position. That was the only position that felt a bit good, right? So I was basically kneeling down and like lying down that way, right? Forward like that. So I kept on moaning like, you know, that kind of a pain, you know, that kind of. And the next thing I remember was all of a sudden, this is me with a lot of pain and all of that. Even at the time I said to myself, why am I the only one shouting, or why am I the only one that's loud here? And I was even trying to control myself not to be loud, because I didn't want to be loud, but I couldn't help it. But at that time I started making like, like that was the best I could do. You know, I couldn't be quiet. I was in that much pain. So while I was there, the next thing I remember was like, all of a sudden, there was silence. When I say silence, there was complete silence. All of a sudden, I had no more pain. When I say no pain, 0 pain. I felt, I like to use the perfect words that explain what I'm trying to say. I felt there was no heaviness. I don't know, like my heart, I don't know, okay, let's say my heart, my mind, there was no heaviness at all. I was just, there was so much peace that I've never had in my whole life. And like I said, there was silence and no fear. Nothing. Think about all the negative things we have in life, the pain, fear, anxiety. Nothing. Everything was so light. When I say light, is like I felt when I'm trying to, like, there was no worries, no pain, nothing. Everything felt so good. And then I looked and I saw, just standing in front of me, but more on my right hand side, my two late sisters. I have two sisters that died. They were older than me. My two elder sisters. I saw the two of them. They were standing like side by side. The oldest was standing in front. Like, it's not even like front and back kind of a standing. It's like almost like side by side, like somebody's standing here and the other one's kind of standing by her side. You know the way sometimes you see family picture portraits, you know, pictures like that. Like, two of them were standing side by side like this, close. They were close to each other, but like they're staring at me. And they were the most beautiful I've ever seen them. They were so beautiful. When I say, you know, their skin, oh my goodness, you know, they were light skinned, you know, when they were alive. I'm using the word were because they are gone. But their skin was so, like, they had beautiful skin. When I say beautiful, like, there was no spots. They never, I'm not saying they had spots where they were alive, but like, you know, this, for his skin to be so perfect, so beautiful, so clean. You know what, the skin is so clean and healthy. They were so healthy looking. They were so beautiful. They were so, you know, the best they've ever looked, if I can put it that way. And they've always been beautiful people, but like, you know, and I was smiling at them and they were smiling at me. And I was so happy to see them. And they were happy to see me. And like I said, you know, in life, as a mother, one of the biggest worries that I have, I think a lot of parents have, is, oh, you wouldn't want to leave this world and leave your children behind, you know, because you know what you mean to them. You want to be there for them. You know, as a parent, you're the one that is guiding them and caring for them in your way, in your own ways that you would, you know, as a parent and everything. So there's that thing about, you know, and I used to think that when people die or when they are dying, they're going to be like, oh, when people die, that they're going to be like, oh, damn, my children. And at that moment, I wasn't thinking about anything. I wasn't thinking about my children. I wasn't thinking about anything at all. Nothing. I was just happy. Think about the happiest day of your life and times it by 1,000,000. Like, I'm trying to show people how big of a happiness it was. How massive this happiness was. It was just, you know, I was surprised. Like I said, I was surprised that at that point I didn't think about my children. I didn't think about anything. I was just so happy to see my sisters. And they were there, like I said, standing looking at me, and I was looking at them. And I was smiling. Like I said, the initiative was I was just smiling. And I was so happy to see them. And they were so happy to see me. And the next thing I saw, I woke up, if I can put it that way, and I was confused. And I started looking at myself. I remember clearly looking at myself like this, like, you know, looking at myself like this with confusion. I was just confused, like, what the hell just happened? Like, what the hell just happened? And all of a sudden, like, the thing is, as soon as I, you know, it's like, to be honest, the first thing I actually felt was the pain back. The pain was back. Everything was back. The silence was gone. It was no longer silent. I was back to, and I remember just kind of, that is what I was looking at. I remember just looking at myself like this. I was confused, like, what just happened? And I remember I said I was fearless, painless, blah, blah, blah. Pain was back and fear was back. And I was like, whoa. All of a sudden, I was afraid. And I was like, whoa, like, what just happened? I was even afraid to share the story. I didn't tell anyone. Because I was like, damn, like, I was thinking, maybe if I share it, it's going to truly happen. And I was freaking out. You know, I was freaking out. I became that parent again that doesn't want to leave this world and leave my children behind. I became the opposite of what I was when that thing happened. And let me say this, right? I want to make this clear. This is what I saw. And the funny or the interesting thing is that it felt like it happened in a second. If you ask me, I would say it happened within the blink of an eye. I would say it didn't take long. Like, this thing was so short. Like, I feel like it happened like that. That's how I feel. But there is no way for me to know how long was that thing. like in the physical. Something else I need to emphasize is that I do not believe, I don't think, even as a nurse, I do not believe that I was that clinically unwell, or you know what I mean by clinically, like medically that unwell. And I do not think that this transition that happened, whereby I was in the presence of my sisters, I do not believe it was physical. I don't believe it was a medical or, you know, a clinical transition. Like how do I put it? I do not think that I transitioned clinically. I do not think so. Let me put it out. Let me actually use the word think. I do not think so. I do not think it was a clinical transition. I do not think it was like physically I transitioned. I do not think, you know, I was that medically unwell that I transitioned in that way. If I have to describe it, I would describe it as supernatural. I would describe it as a supernatural experience, because I can't explain what happened, but I know what I saw. I know what I saw. And why I say that you know, that's why I want to be careful of that word die, because like I'm saying, I do not think it was clinical, right? I just think it was a supernatural experience. And I want to phrase my words correctly, because it's important to me that my story is correct, and that I, you know, because sometimes you speak and then you use words that will mix up things. I really want to be sure my words are the right words that makes the listener get exactly what I'm saying. And like I said, it was a supernatural transition. And so when I use the word I died, I want people to understand what I mean by that. Okay, I'm going to put the word died in a quotation mark in that way, just because it was not a clinical, in my opinion, it was not a clinical thing. It was a supernatural thing. Excuse me. And yeah. And why, yeah, sorry, that's what I'm trying to gather my thoughts. You know, why I say I went to heaven, and I believe I went to heaven, is that when those of us that believe in the Christian God, the Bible, you know, because maybe watching this and say you're a Muslim, you're Buddhist, you're whatever faith you practice. Why I say I went to heaven is that the Bible describes heaven to be a place where there's peace, there's joy, there's all of these amazing, beautiful, positive things. No more pain, no more this, no more that. That was what I saw. There was no pain, there was no sadness, there was no, you know, all of the negative things, you know. And then describes hell as the opposite. There will be pain, the suffering, everything negative. What I saw, there was not a single negative thing in it. I'm going to tell you guys that after that, I began to see death in a different way. The painlessness involved and the joy and the beauty that I saw is such a lovely thing. I have to say it. It is such a beautiful thing that I remember when I shared it with, you know, I shared it with some family members, and my younger brother was like, "Oh God, if he's him, he will not come back. Oh, he will not. He's not coming back. Oh, blah blah blah. You know." And we're laughing about it, but me, I thought about it. I said, if I go, will Nigeria survive without me? I said, let me go back, because you So well, anyways, that was what happened. There's a long story. It's a long story, and there's so much I need to share. There's so much I want to share. I need to share about the diagnosis and tests and other things after that that would explain why I have been absent, an update as to where things stand at the moment. There's so much I'm going to share with you guys, but I wanted to make this one about this particular part of my story. And I want to say this, I don't want to forget this. Now, when I talk about what I saw, there was a part of me that was like, you know, because I noticed that whenever I shared a story with family and friends, and it's always like people are really blown away about the beauty of where I went, right? And I get this a lot. People say, oh, it's actually better over there. Like, you know, people like, you know, I remember my auntie said that. My auntie said, yeah, she has always known that it must be better over there. My younger brother was saying, if he's in, he's not coming back. Or, you know, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, what I saw, what I experienced, what I saw, it is beautiful. It is, or the feeling inside, you know, the feeling inside, I don't even know how to explain it, that, you know, the painlessness and the no worries, no fear, nothing. It was amazing. But I began to feel a bit reluctant. Why? Because of people that may say about, I want to really emphasize this, right? It's very important for anyone that sees a video like this and feel like, oh, if that place is so amazing, let me end it all so I can go over there. That was one thing that made me a bit afraid to share it. Somebody may be like, you know what, I've been going through a lot, I've been going through this, I want to go there because here is terrible. What I want to say is, please, before you think about, you know, use my story to be motivation to say, I want to end it all to go there where it's better, is that what I want you to bear in mind is that this is my story. This is what I saw. I don't know what you will see. You understand? So in my case, I went to the, you know, like, let me say it this way. For a Christian, Muslim, whatever you are, whatever religion you are, you know, I went to a positive place. Some people go to a negative place, according to our Bible. So I went to a positive place. Let me call it positive and negative. I went to a positive place, but I do not know where you would go. So don't let my story be the reason you'll be like, okay, let me go and end it all. Because you may not go and experience what I experienced. I really want to emphasize it, to make sure my video does not become a reason why somebody decides to say, oh, if it's so amazing, I'm out of here. It's my story, not yours. And even in Christianity, we were taught that if you end it all, because it is, if you end it all by yourself, you won't make it to the positive place. If that makes sense. I really want to do this to prevent a situation whereby my story is why somebody chooses to, you know, to end it all. So I'm going to keep it short. It's already longer than I planned. So this is what happened. This is what happened to me. Never in a million years thought something like that would happen to me. Never in my life. Never in my life. And what's it called? So this will explain to a great extent, you know, this will explain the reason for my absence, but there's more that I will share that will explain why, will explain more about my absence and things that happen after that. Like I already said, the diagnosis and tests, all the tests and all of that, and I'll share that in the next video. For now, I'm going to leave this one here, and with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye bye.